Hey, what's going on, guys? It's me, Alex Wong, and welcome back to another video. Today, I'm going to be teaching you everything you need to know about domain masking, what it is, if you should use it, and what is the key differences between doing that and the classic old domain redirect. I don't got too much to say for this intro, so without further doing it, let's just get right into the video. So, domain masking, what is it? Essentially, domain masking is a technique that allows you to present a different domain name to your website visitors while still having them view the actual content from your original domain. I like to kind of think about it as like a mirror. So let's say that you have your regular website, right? And instead of the URL changing to go to your website, the URL does not change at all. And everything is still exactly the same on your website and gets updated real time. So what does this allow us to do? So it can be a very useful tool for flying under the radar for Google and Outlook spam. Okay? Why would we use this? Well, let's talk about domain redirecting. So in the past, what everybody who did cold email on Earth did, and even myself, was the domain redirect. This was just like general knowledge. Like, this is the default. This is what you should be doing. And the domain redirecting is when you have a secondary domain that automatically loads in your main domain or a different URL is searched. So it also could be called domain redirect, domain forwarding. For example, we have this link here, usedulcimedia.com. You can very clearly see this as usedulcimedia.com. If I click this link, however, you can see, boom, I typed in that URL and it's gonna head right to my main website. Now, what is this all about? Now, let me just show you kind of like the infrastructure with this. So typically what happens, right? You have your primary domain, which is dulce.io, or you might have marketing.com, agency.com. And what you would have is you would have secondary domains all redirecting to one domain, which is agency.com. Now, as well, little tip I'm going to give you on the tool that we're using. There's going to be a little discount at the end of the video for you guys to use off of lifetime. So we're just going to wait a little bit till the end for that. But essentially, this gives you prefixes and suffixes, a regular domain. Now, it doesn't have to be related to your main one, but for cold outreach, we typically do this. So it'd be like tryagency.com, growagency.com, and each one of those domains would host 2 email accounts. Now, what's the problem with this and why, no one really thought about it until as of this whole deliverability crisis that happened in October? Well, it was because of this. You're trying to go to a URL and you get veered off into a different path, which is the redirect that happens. So Google and Outlook essentially see that. And very interesting enough, when it comes to their bots and different type of email sending providers, you actually get a little bit of a different message than what you're supposed to be seeing. So people typically do the domain forwarding at the register level and share the following IP or forwarding IP with hundreds to thousands of people, right? Because it's all going to your one website. So if anyone sharing that IP is blacklisted on their web host level, or even if a bad IP was assigned or you have a burned domain or something, your domain will show up on blacklists. And as you know, blacklists are never fun, not cool. Don't do blacklist, kids. Theoretically speaking, Sorbs is the only one you really should be worrying about. However, this is just a little bit of a hiccup, we'll call it, that we kind of want to prevent, essentially, right? This is what I was talking about. Whenever an ESP or bot visits your website, it very clearly does a 301 or 302 redirect. So it's very easy to see which websites are redirecting versus which ones are actual websites, right? So again, this not so much will affect your primary domain, but more of the secondary domains at scale being redirected. How do I mask my domains? What is masking? So using a tool such as EmailGuard can help you mask all your domains for relatively low cost and get access to a bunch of different deliverability tools to know everything about your account, your domains, your copy. It's actually pretty crazy. So it's pretty much all in one major tool that has the inbox placement test that I just made a video on. You guys can check it out right on the channel. But while the concept of domain masking, it's not new at all. From what I know, they are the first tool really to popularize it for cold emailers, especially, if you're an agency who does this. To be honest, I didn't even think about this at all, until they started talking about it, and then we did the homework and the research and a little bit of testing. And I'll be honest with you that the results aren't crazy. It's not like switching to domain masking, boom, 20% reply rates. It's not going to happen, okay? We see small improvements, and eventually you just kind of add up all those small improvements, and then you're going to really see the big differences between things. So what happens is that you get an IP from their shared pool, or you could purchase a dedicated one. Then your secondary domains get rerouted through that IP address. And beyond that, they also set up a masking proxy, which also gets its very own SSL certificate. So all your secondary domains look like their own websites, right? There's also an API. They're super integratable that you can use, with Clay, with Make, and a bunch of different things. This is their link here. You could check it out. Again, stay till the end to get the discount, or check in the description down below. Now, what are the positives of this exactly? Well, to kind of show you how it works, right? If I do dulceclient.co, you can see that my website's going to be displayed here, right? Everything exactly the same and normal as it should be. Now, you could check the URL in the top left and see right there, it still says dulceclient.co. It did not change, and that's because of the masking. Now, what are the positives? We know Google notifies customers about domain spoofing, right? That's been a big talk of the walk as of recently within the agency world. That comes in the whole talk about of domain aging, the proper setups, and way different ball game as it used to be back then. When they're forwarded cold email, domains get too many spam complaints. The notification is sent to the primary domain holders, which is your cold email clients. This was the primary reason why we're now utilizing that domain masking to avoid being flagged at that level, right? Because I always tell everybody in our agency there's two main things that we focus on, and that's having the best deliverability and the most targeted leads. And in this case scenario, if you're not hitting the inbox, why does it matter? And we'll do any small little improvement that we can to make sure to effectively boost our outreach, right? Again, I'd just rather be safe than sorry. That's kind of the level we've taken it at. You can't send 35 plus per inbox per account anymore. It's really on the lower end. Again, with hyper personalization coming into play, then even at those low amounts, you could still get pretty far. And we've seen a net positive, depends on the type of emails you're sending to, this whole dilemma with Outlook, from even 2 to 5 times better when it comes to reply rates while sending to corporate spam filters. So anything that falls under the category of like Proofpoint, Barracuda, Mimcast. And we just ran a huge deliverability test on this actually that I shared on my Twitter page. And this was actually the best performing accounts essentially, right? We had reply rates of 5-6% just on very, very generic copy. So that was something very interesting to see. Our previous campaigns from our infrastructure test, we saw the other email accounts performed, as I said, 1.8 to 3 times better reply rate, right? We tested a bunch of different infrastructures, but that's pretty much what we saw compared to regular Google and Outlook. And the great thing is that you can literally spin up thousands of domain masks if you want to right now. It's pretty simple to do, and especially, if you have a email account provider, we are now using cheap inboxes and they will set this all up for you. So it's pretty incredible when you could get partnered in that way. So now when you have your account set up, you also have your domains being masked as well. But what are the downsides? Well, to be frank with you right now, we've not really seen any downsides from masking yet. If something were to happen, I've told you, I'll definitely let you guys know on YouTube or Twitter. I mean, as I said, it's kind of one of these things, right? Where there's no negative, right? This only can kind of help you a little bit better. Will it work for every domain and website? This is where kind of, we throw a little, Some website hosting companies don't allow proxy connections. In this case, they can perform a redirect on their end. You still benefit from a hosted domain redirect over a clean IP with a SSL certificate, but you lose the mask. So in this case, you can set up like a single landing page through Framer or a like proxy friendly website host and then mask all your secondary domains to that singular landing page. That's an option you could do. Are there any SEO concerns I should be worried about? I actually had some people ask me this on sales calls, and with Email Guard, no, not really that we've seen. They take care of the domain masking headers to ensure that your secondary domains are not picked up by the search engines, and other masking providers might not do this. Again, I told you this is fairly something that's more being brought into the spotlight, let's call it, but I'm not aware of any other tools that are currently doing this, so I just always make sure to ask them before you go ahead. I want to learn more. If you do, drop a comment down below. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions and even get you hooked up with the right people for the job. So as we kind of hop over here, this is our Email Guard account that has now introduced workspace IPs, so now you can have different workspaces within it to separate it, to make it easier to see between clients. And essentially, this is kind of what their whole platform does. I told you, this is like the deliverability masterclass for cold email, essentially. So if you're doing cold email, I highly recommend this tool. You can manage all your domains here, manage all your email accounts. You can do contact verification, right? You can do email host lookup, and especially with ESP matching now becoming very important, you can effectively determine who's using Google, who's using Outlook, and segment your campaigns that way. You can check if you're on blacklists. You can monitor your DMARC. And one of the huge things here, you can run inbox placement tests covered in previous video, spam filter tests, email authentication, content spammer check, anything you need relating to deliverabilities here. But we are going to be talking about the domain masking proxy. So what happens is essentially you're going to hit new masking proxy, and then it's going to pop up with an IP address that you can throw in as an A record to your domain. And once you do that, you just keep refreshing it until it pops up and you're all good to go, and your domain will be masked. So I hope that helps. Now for the bonus, as I was telling you about, you go down below and drop this little code, sign up for free. But if you use code DULCY, DULCY, 5 at checkout, you're gonna get 5% off lifetime. You will forever have 5% off the regular price, okay? Also, as well, if you are looking for a cold email done for you solution, I know there's crazy changes that are going on. It's a lot to keep up with. We're here to take that boulder off your shoulder, essentially. And if you're a B2B service-based business and you want qualified sales calls booked on your calendar consistently, I definitely say let's set up a free outbound audit. We will go over what you're currently doing, how you can improve it. I'll teach you everything you need to know about all the new changes and how, you can go out and manage all the craziness that is going on, as well as if you need any specific type of advice, I'll be more than happy to give it on. And we also do offer consulting. So if you want to learn more for your agency, if you run a cold email agency, I'll be more than happy to help out as well. And absolute worst case scenario, you walk away with invaluable insight. And best case, well, we take over your whole system. We fill your calendar with a series of new sales opportunities and give you back that time to focus on your business. All right, that's all I have for today's video. Have a great day, everyone.